Hi, we're Group 4, and this is our Women's Resource Center final presentation. My name is Caitlin Dill, and I'm a junior studying public relations.
Hi, my name is Melinda Thompson, and I'm a junior public relations major.
I'm Emma Phillips, and I'm a senior public relations major.
I'm Kate Perkins, and I'm a senior public relations major.
My name is Brooke Borden, and I'm a junior public relations major.
I'm Olivia Freer, and I'm a senior public relations major.
So this is our overview. We looked into the Women's Resource Center because they are potentially wanting to rebrand. We conducted research, interviews, focus groups, and surveys to find out whether they should stay the same or change with the times. So we interviewed donors. And why did we do interviews? So we did them to find out why they donate, what the donors hope to accomplish with their donations, what the donors think of a potential rebrand, and what they suggest for that potential rebrand. So what did we learn from these interviews? We learned first that they have a lack of awareness. The first person we interviewed, they know the WRC's mission statement, but they're unaware of the WRC's brand as a whole. The second person we interviewed did not know what their money specifically went to. We also asked them questions about rebranding. The first person encouraged a rebrand so that they could form a stronger brand with the publics. The second person we interviewed, they said that the WRC should market to older foundational donors, and they also said that the WRC should readdress the motives of their financial backings. We also found out that the WRC needs to maintain communications between them and the donors. The WRC isn't very much in touch with their donors, and they're unaware of how vital that their donations are since there's not that communication. We also found out that there needs to be more of a LGBTQIA inclusion, and by including more people that they could have more donations.
So one of the methods we use to collect data on the Women's Resource Center and its general awareness within the public was a focus group. Our focus group consisted of 6 to 8 people from the community of Norman. We chose to do a focus group because the focus group pulls a small sample from a broad public, so therefore it gives us more organic responses. A focus group also allows more face-to-face interaction where people are more willing to share their thoughts and opinions in a group setting. This group setting allows more collaboration and ideas for the Women's Resource Center's rebranding and moving on in the future. All of the responses that we got from our focus group also supplied us with qualitative data to move forward. Overall, what we learned from our focus group was that there is a general lack of awareness within the community. The people in the focus group really didn't know what the organization was in general. Therefore, they did not know the way that the Women's Resource Center works within the public. Knowing that they had no idea what the organization was in general, they couldn't have a brand image or an idea of what to do in the rebranding process. Their lack of awareness also means for the Women's Resource Center that their volunteering and donations could benefit from more public awareness. Also knowing that the Women's Resource Center is friendly to not just women, but members of the LGBTQIA+ community and males.
So the next method of research that we utilized was a survey. We chose to use a survey because it would help us evaluate the client and their programs, as well as conducting research where the information comes directly from the publics. The online format of a survey is beneficial because it's easily distributed to the publics. It's simple to answer. They can usually do it in about 5 to 10 minutes. And it gives an accurate understanding of the information regarding the public and their perceptions because people aren't swayed in how they answer as they might be in a focus group or an in-depth interview. From our survey, we learned that females are usually more aware of the organization than males are. LGBTQIA plus individuals are usually more aware than non-LGBTQIA plus individuals. However, all groups scored relatively low on their awareness scales, meaning that the organization can do a lot to make sure that the entire community is aware of the organization and what they do. For perception and attitudes, we found that the baby boomers regard the organization's current brand image as more appealing, up-to-date, and inclusive than people who are millennials, Gen X, or Gen Z. Additionally, they found the overall logo more current and pleasing than other generations. So we learned that for social media and donation preferences, Twitter was the most used social media platform, while Instagram was the least among our survey respondents. All of them preferred donating directly through the organization as opposed to mobile donations. And then females are more likely to follow the Women's Resource Center on all of their social media platforms than men are. It's important to note that there were some limitations in our survey because our population was not entirely representative of the population of Norman. We had many, many more women complete the survey than men. The majority of the respondents identified as white. Very few respondents identified as LGBTQIA+, and most respondents were millennials, while the majority of donors and volunteers with the Women's Resource Center are baby boomers. So that does bias our information from our survey a little bit.
So the next form of research we conducted on the WRC was content analysis on the WRC social media. So our group conducted research using content analysis on their Facebook page. And so the content analysis allowed for the social media pages to be analyzed to see what type of content received the most responses from the publics and also which type of content received the least amount of responses. And we were able to see and conclude how the WRC can improve on their Facebook page in order to get the public's for a call to action on the Facebook page and expand on information on the WRC on their Facebook. So the different categories that we measured using content analysis were identifiers, engagement, narrative, links, images, and social content, as well as two-way communication. And the content analysis measured how the public interacted, whether that was or commenting or sharing the post. And a lot of it had to do with whether the post was a narrative or information or a call to action to donate or volunteer or mentions events or future events. So what we learned from the content analysis on the Facebook page was that posts containing links and news articles that contain pictures had the most amount of engagement, and the posts containing information about domestic and sexual violence, less personal narratives, also received a lot of engagement on the page. And the posts with the least amount of interactions on the page were graphics that the organization had made, and these called for the volunteers and told people about learning opportunities. These also did not receive much response on the Facebook page. So one limitation to the content analysis when analyzing the WRC's Facebook page is that the resources that the WRC provides are often sensitive and confidential, which therefore a lot of the clients with the WRC don't interact publicly and on social media with the WRC, which provides a limitation to the amount of data and conclusions we were able to draw from the Facebook page due to a low amount of interactions with the Facebook page.
So in our discussion of the findings, we found that women interact with the WRC social media pages a lot more than men. That women were also found to think that the WRC is more inclusive than men because the logo and all the branding caters towards women. Younger generations think that the WRC is less inclusive than older generations like baby boomers, and believe that the branding needs to change to incorporate men as well as people in the LGBTQIA+ community. Older generations also believe that the current branding is fine, and they think that it does not need to be changed to be more inclusive because they think it is inclusive currently, as it's called the Women's Resources Center and caters mostly towards women. Our findings from the research also showed, also from in-depth interviews, the survey, and the focus groups, all help show that people do not have a good holding of awareness of the WRC. Additionally, it was talked about that we didn't have a very representative population pool, and although we received very few responses from members of the LGBTQIA+ community, although we collected 511 survey responses. Our findings also show that the Women's Resources Center will need to update its logo, mission, and name to be able to better serve a wider audience and attract a larger group of people to donate than the ones they currently have, which is a lot of baby boomers and older generations, as a rebranding would help pull in younger generations. The audience that is most likely to use the services of the WRC believe that the branding is not very inclusive, and because this is a large key public, a rebranding to include more openness and awareness is necessary. A rebranding would also be beneficial to our target audience and would attract people who would otherwise not know or want to use the services of the WRC.
Okay, so the last thing that we did was offer suggestions to the WRC. The reason we do this is because suggestions provide a clear guide for the client to see how they can improve, specifically with concrete examples that we found from our research throughout the semester. The suggestions serve as an overall summary for the client to fully understand the steps of their rebranding and then how to go about it when they start taking those steps. So the suggestions that we found this semester were that it is important for the WRC to aim towards targeting men over the age of 18, because from our data we found that men were the most not aware of the fact that they can use a WRC. And then that we found that also the WRC can benefit from incorporating more social media, because mainly they use Facebook and Twitter, and now since people are a lot more on Instagram and Snapchat and stuff, they could benefit from using other social media forms. And then the WRC should also focus on donor retention and maintaining clear and open communication with them, because the donors make a huge impact on their whole organization as a whole. Okay, and that's all we have today. Thank you.